then. Oh, okay.
Sarah told
Hi.
me. How about that?
I'm here with Alan, and this is Roger, and we are trying to connect to our Earth. In my case, the snow. Oh, no,
Oh,
no, it's snowy. It's really snowy here. Um, although, oh wait, okay, because we can. I do have the Maserati in the garage. Okay. Well, anyway, um, I okay. Well, let's see how we can connect in some ways. I guess I can hug my tree. This tree had a big trauma. There was a huge branch that was blocked the entire street, and it was this branch here. If I can get in here, that branch right there completely covered the entire street. And I will hug my tree here. All right. I'm going to connect with the earth by hugging this tree that's been through a lot last year. And Alan, you're there, and it looks like it's a much prettier place.
well, it's not snowing.
Okay, so now I'm hugging my tree here. Okay, and there's a lot of snow here, and uh, so I'm going to hug my tree and ground myself. Next sure I'm going to go barefoot today, but I'm hugging my tree with my hand. And Alan, can you tell me about where you are? I'm here in Minnesota.
I am in El Paso, Texas, and these are the Franklin Mountains. Let me show you. I'm right by the highway. It goes down the valley. Ugh. Got cactuses. So, yeah, I'm not going to go barefoot. Cactuses and
Well,
rocks and broken glass. Yeah.
I think it's fun to connect to. I mean, and be like, it was really pretty when we were in Hawaii that you could hear the frogs singing us in the morning. I mean, it was
Oh,
such an
yeah.
experience being in the rainforest. And um, I haven't been out much today because it was a big storm, and I do have my driveway plowed now, so I could drive around it. I suppose it'd be fun to take a cruise in the Maserati.
In the Megarati,
Well,
yeah.
I would have to go and get keys to it because it is in the house. I should have thought of that to begin with. But anyway, the we'll just I guess we can talk about things like one thing is that um like connecting to each other. So you feel that part of the reason that you have a connection to Meg. I mean, if you what if what
I lost my
what your
sound.
connection is? Yeah, what your connection is to Meg and the music.
Can you repeat that?
Oh yeah, what is your connection with Meg and the music? Like what are
Oh,
things that drives you to Meg? Obviously, probably the music first, and then Meg herself, right?
yeah. It's the connection to the lyrics mostly, but the music and the energy. And I'm really not into music as much as all of you guys are. There is so few musicians that actually touch me and dig into my soul and pull me out of it. And yeah, Meg is one of them. I felt a connection to a lot of her music.
Oh right,
I
yeah.
didn't
I
have
mean,
that connection at first, though. The connection I got was is more from the Zia album. Was at first when I first found her, I was looking for a theme song for a Vampire the Masquerade game I was running, and I found Monster, and I liked that. So and eventually one thing led to another, and found my way to a new favorite artist.
oh yeah, it was. I mean, she really grew on me. But I mean, I mentioned this in different posts. I learned about her from watching JBTV. This is the guy who ran the longest running music show on television. started in the 90s, and he didn't have a rerun. And he'd pay for time out of his own pocket because he was a TV producer and he just loved music. So he'd
Mhm.
have his own TV show that he would pay for out of his own pocket. Wouldn't even run ads. And he had
Wow.
Meg on there, and there were three.
Oh,
He records concerts too. He had a video of Meg at doing Monster, Motel, and Desire, and it was. And this guy Jerry Bryant, he's so good with his editing. And the sound is great. The video is great. And of course, just like I've seen then the Lollapalooza, and just Meg is such a. I just loved the presentation. The other thing too is I'm looking at the Sia album. It looked like Ken Oak was involved with that. So I'm just curious why. Of course, I'd love to hear more of the cello back in the albums.
yeah.
That was a big deal for me. I thought it's kind of something that kind of defines Meg's music. This contrast in sounds, this rock sound, as well as like having the cello. This it's like a classic music as well as it's rock and rock and it's there's so many contrasts in the music. If you think
Yeah.
about the lyrics and the sound. I mean, Meg changes her voice like in Underground, right? It shows the
Mhm.
contrast that we have in ourselves, and a lot of their songs kind of go back and forth, showing contrast in our emotions, and um, so yeah. So I just thought it would be fun if we had at least a couple of us going out. I'm glad I'm not the only one out here showing
Yeah.
that we can be outside if Meg calls us to do it. She's our leader there, so. But
Yeah.
one of the other posts I posted, so being autistic myself, is I learned that actually improv was designed for autistic people to practice social situations, and so
Yeah. I
I
read that
actually went.
earlier.
Yeah, and so I went to Second City, which is where like a lot of these guys. A lot of people from Saturday Night Live, like Steve Carell. We had, I think John Belushi. All these guys went to Second City Improv School, and so it did help me. And a couple of my friends actually went to improv school. One of them with me that I helped finance her, and then another one went later. And so I think it would be great to for Meg to connect with people over improv because you learn these exercises. You have to watch other people. You have to see what they're doing. Like you have to pass the ball of energy, for example, things like that, where you're kind of
Mhm.
in tune with other people. And I think that's something that we autistic people have trouble with. And I think it would be an eye-opening thing for Meg to try that. And I said I would finance it if she wants. There's a class that starts next Monday, and there's 3 spots open for it, and it's near her. So I would help her finance that, and then give her a graduation gift when she's done, because I,
Yeah.
I thought it was helpful for me. And um, the other topic I talked about on there recently was, have you seen the Rise Against video where Meg is in the video? She's singing in it. It's
No, I have not seen that.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, a lot of people like that song, and of course, oh yeah, that's Megan. It's
Yeah.
just such a. But I bought tickets for that show, and it'd be such a cool surprise for people if Meg came out and uh,
Yeah.
and was part of that one song that she sings in, and it'd be just such a fun surprise. I don't know if there's a way to make that happen, but I certainly finance for her to come out. Well, I mean, the same thing is I tried to reach out to Ken Oak when Meg was doing her acoustic tracks. I actually tried to contact Ken Oak to see if he could like play the cello along with Meg. I thought that would just be so much fun. But then now I'm thinking, hey, if I'm going to see Rise Against, of course, being a huge Meg fan, wouldn't it be fun if she sang along? I mean, it's like a big surprise that Meg comes out in the middle of the song and the crowd goes wild. Anyway, so yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
nice
that would be
finally
great.
meeting
Maybe
you.
maybe you
Yeah.
can get your stars together and put that,
Yeah, I
get your
don't know. I
stars
mean, Meg
aligned.
has to agree to it. I mean, it would be a lot of fun. I mean, and then the other thing is that I'm going to that show with. So in my story, I didn't know I was on the autism spectrum until I was teaching high school, And one of my students, I had to read about Asperger's syndrome because one of my students that I was in one of my classes had Asperger's syndrome, and so I had to read about it. And it's like, oh my God, that's totally me. But I had an open mind about it. I wasn't sure, and I wanted to go to a support group meeting and to see if maybe and some of the people did seem really weird, and some people you would never know. They were very good at hiding the fact that they had something different. And I made notes of, oh, this guy seems pretty cool. Maybe I'll get to talk to him after the meeting. And there was this one girl that was kind of like under a blanket. She seemed like a total freak. And I thought, well, I probably have nothing in common with her, but she became my best friend. So I'm glad you're touching the earth. I should do that, but touching the earth with my bare hands. Well, I guess I guess I can. I guess I can. I mean, here's a little spot over here where there's some dirt that maybe I can touch right over here. A little spot that somehow doesn't have snow. Oh, look, there's a little something growing here. Look, I'm touching a little. I don't know if you can see that on the ground.
A little what?
With some little
Oh,
little weed growing there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh. I keep putting my microphone in my pocket so you can't hear me. I guess I should figure out a better way to do this next time.
yeah.
All right. Well,
It mumbles. It mumbles with you in the pocket.
yes. Well, I mean, anybody can say. Well, wait a second. Okay. I think in the other video I showed my black motorcycle, but I suppose I should show that I actually have. So it'd be really fun to go cycling. I have some electric motorcycles. I showed the black one in a different video, which I keep at work. The white one I keep in my own garage. And it'd be fun to take the electric motorcycles out. I also have some electric bikes, but I love cycles and cool.
Well, wait till it's not snowing.
What's that?
Wait till it's not snowing.
And yes, this is the Maserati with the Meg Myers on the hood.
That's awesome.
Oh well, it was only meant to really be a fun thing to go on the tour with, but I just couldn't give it up afterwards. It's like, oh, there's such great memories of going to the concert. So anyway, I guess that's the end. Unless there's something else we wanted to say, just wanted to show that we're following our leader and connecting with the earth in our own way.
Well, I do want to add,
Yeah.
with your talk about improv,
Yeah.
one thing is it doesn't cost a class to learn. Try like playing Dungeons and Dragons, where it's all imagination and improv, but it is structured by dice. The dice help you to learn how to react and have to tell the story according to how the dice fall. And have you ever played?
I have. And funny thing you should mention that. My brother is a little bit older than me, and he actually played Dungeons and Dragons, get this, with Gary Gygax's group. He was he was credited as the inventor of Dungeons and Dragons, and he didn't play with Gary Gygax, but the people that he used to play with were there. Now, of course, I learned some great interesting things about that, in that, as it turns out, Gary Gygax, I hate to break it to you, he really didn't really invent the game, but this other guy did, and Gary Gygax is really good about writing everything down. Like they played Dungeons and Dragons, which they created, and someone else really came up with the concept, and Gary Gygax like structured it and wrote it all down. So he was able to publish it with all the structure that he had. But it was kind of started by that group of friends that I did meet them at some point, because I wasn't as active. But also another thing that's fun when you think about that is, have you heard of SCA, like the Society for Creative Anachronism?
I have, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Just not the first person to tell me about it.
Oh, right. Well, the idea is you live like you're in the Middle Ages. You dress that way. Uh-huh. They have fighting. People wear suits of armor and they go whack at each other. I mean, they don't use actually sharp swords that can kill each other, but they have rules. Like if you get hit, you fall down. But they're all into making clothes. And don't call them costumes. They hate that, because it's actually real, authentic clothes. They use the real materials, and it's very authentic. And that's a fun way to kind of be like if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, you might think it's fun to like be a character. And they used to initially get to go to the Renaissance fairs for free because they were so into it. They would invite them, and then at some point they decided they charge them, and then they started boycotting it. But it's kind of a fun thing to do. Have you ever been to Renaissance fair?
I have not. I want to, but I've never really had the. We don't do one here. I would have to go for a few hours drive,
Oh, well, there's a big
which
one.
it's really not. It's doable. I just never got around to do it.
There's a real cool one in Wisconsin, just over the border, uh, in just over the border from Illinois, and then there's another one that's out in like Shakopee, Minnesota. That I've been to those two. Those are real fun. Um, I mean, I would think too it'd be really fun to be Meg if only you could kind of get over that. You could travel all over the country. There's probably fans that would put you up at a hotel anywhere, everywhere. I mean, it's kind of a fun thing to just travel around. If you took the tour slowly, like you could have gigs in different cities, but just kind of make it a vacation too, and everything would be a tax write-off. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be fun to do that. I've lived all over the country in all kinds of weird places or interesting places because I do contract work
Hmm.
for designing medical products, medical devices.
Oh,
So um, I'm not doing that now. I'm into the EV charging business now. So we have.
oh.
I'm not gonna turn this into an ad though, so I won't talk about my business. But I
You own some charging stations?
I don't own them.
Is that the
I
summary of it?
design them. I design them.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, if you're on your way to, if you should be fool enough to drive your electric vehicle to Alaska, the issue is that there's a lot of arguments that, well, I don't want to have an electric car because what if I want to drive my car to Alaska and there wouldn't be any charging stations except for the 5 charging stations in very remote locations that I actually designed. I shouldn't say I did
There you
all
go.
the design. I did all the electronic design. So all the controls and how it works, the software, how the systems work together. That's all. That's all me. But we have all over
Oh, very
Los
good.
Angeles the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, and the Los Angeles Unified School District. They all use charging stations that I helped design. So it's fun.
That's something to be proud of there. Yeah.
And it's cool.
Good
Well,
job.
it's also I've designed medical devices. I've worked on an affordable. It's called a Bovie. This is like the first job I had out of engineering school. It's an electrosurgical generator. You can cut through human tissue. Um, we weren't the first. Valley Labs was the big commercial company that made those, but we wanted an inexpensive one so that veterinarians could afford to have, do surgery on the pets. And so
Hmm.
also so the other doctors could remove cysts in their offices rather than having to go to a surgery center. So I made it affordable. That's what I did, and I designed things like the first smoke detector for hearing impaired people. So I've
Wow.
had a lot of
That's
fun
fantastic.
inventions that I've done. So if I'm not designing medical products, I'm doing like life-saving products and things like that. So,
Yeah.
um,
That's fantastic. Be
but
proud.
anyway, it was really fun to meet you finally. I mean, I've seen your posts once in a while, and
Yeah, me
um,
too. It's good to meet you, Roger.
all right. Well, I guess is there anything else? Because otherwise, we'll just end the meeting. But it was
No,
just
it's
fun to
it's
connect.
actually starting to get a little bit chilly. So
Oh,
I
okay.
got
Well,
about an hour of sun left. So yeah.
all right. Well, we'll see you next time. Okay. Sure.
This